Understanding the difference between being and doing, a level of awareness. And I had the experience that everything that I had been thinking, everything that I had been going through in life, everything I had been doing was apart from this awareness and this presence that I was in at that moment. And it was all these different extra layers of identity, all these extra layers of things I thought that were moving me towards my goals, but in many ways in that moment I saw were actually a hindrance to me and were just creating more weight that I was carrying along the way. The realization that I was this presence, this awareness, this knowing behind the body, behind the mind, a level of awareness that was so much deeper and so much more vast than the ego, vairagya and abhyas. The balance of these two things of a lot of effort, but then also letting go and surrendering. In that moment is where that presence is, where there's nothing else to be done. Everything is whole. We are fulfilled. There is a level of silence that takes over that allows us the ability to feel connected to everything. In that moment, that presence, a lot of things can arise from the inner world, the inner state, that reflect to you a deeper part of who you are, your journey, where you came from, where you're headed. This is all in being. So there's this super consciousness that happens in that moment. True, full being of expression that allowed it to flow through me and got the ego out of the way, right? You're exactly where you need to be. Being deeply rooted in the center of your being in the present moment. There's this need that we feel a lot of times when we're in these levels of identity that are part of ego. We feel like, why aren't we farther? We see others and we compare ourselves to others. When I was younger, there was an aspect of feeling like I had to achieve all this success for my child, for my daughter. And because I had a child, I had to work extra hard, constantly all the time trying to achieve my goals, realizing how much I'd been missing in the present moment. Love that I'd been centered in that present moment that I was completely overlooking. I was looking all outside of myself to try to find it. All the while, the powers that be, God, gave me this great gift right there in front of me, my life. The true importance of suffering and the acceptance of suffering. I had this real resistance to suffering. I wanted life to be easy, right? I wanted it to just flow. Why isn't this working? Why can't I make any more progress? Different stories that when I look back in hindsight and connect the dots, I realized a lot of the suffering that I was going through was really actually, I wasn't focusing on the right things. At the time, it was right because that's where I was. But I felt like I had to do more, achieve more, get more, connect to more people, make more money, make more connections. Why wasn't I farther than where I was, right? Life was actually trying to teach me. I was missing a lot of the foundational pieces about what true fulfillment, true success is. I'm only gonna find what I'm looking for within myself. And suffering is this beautiful way that shows you when you're not fully in alignment with who you truly are. A lot of us live our entire lives in suffering because we never recognize that it's this signal, this feedback that life, the universe, God, everything is giving us to bring us back to a deeper core and truth of who we are. And things may feel like we're forcing things and we're pushing too hard and we're wearing ourselves out. This always leads to burnout, always leads to overwhelm, always leads to this downfall, this crash that leaves you feeling completely at a loss, like you don't know where you want to go from here and you don't know how you're going to go on any further. Those moments are deep gifts. That's a gift. That moment is a gift. It's a moment that is exposing you to where you're still limited in your mind, your identity, your ego, thinking that you're going to get this fulfillment from anything outside of yourself, that you're going to achieve any kind of true happiness and joy from any kind of outward achievement. Those things are all beautiful, but they are not the cause of success. They are the byproduct of success. So with that shift in perspective, We could see the most successful people in the world who are absolutely miserable are actually not successes. We're redefining, repositioning our understanding of what success and fulfillment actually truly means. True success, I realize, through suffering, is the deep realization of who you truly are within you. As Eckhart Tolle says in his book, A New Earth, perfect example is that suffering is caused by ego, but it is also what leads you out of ego. It's also the antidote that leads you ultimately to leave ego, leave it behind, let dust return to dust. This is the spiritual process, spiritual awakening, deeper understandings of the truth of who you are. And in that process, you're going to have moments of suffering, moments of feeling angsty like you want to be further than where you are, forgetting about this present, beautiful, precious moment that is right now before us, right at hand. As Christ said, the kingdom is at hand. The kingdom is within you. The psychology of how we think of things is a huge part of us moving forward into the next phase of our journey and being at peace with the present moment and accepting that we're divinely led and guided everywhere we go, everything we do, every moment. If we can settle the mind down a little bit, settle our thoughts, whether it's through physical activity, working out, running, going for a run, or whether it's meditation, yoga, or somatic breath, different ways of releasing these things that over-identify us with the body and the mind and all these ideals and identifications that we've grown to have through conditioning in the world. Settle it down and find your way of coming to peace in the present moment. You're exactly where you need to be.